SITREP World Briefing for May 31st, 2026. A Russian drone struck a block of flats in Galați, Romania early on Friday, causing a fire, injuring 2 people and sending residents back into shelters in a city close to the border with Ukraine. Romanian officials said the blast damaged the apartment building and left people shaken as emergency crews responded to the scene. The incident brought the war's risks directly into a NATO member state's civilian neighborhood. The strike in Galați highlighted how Romania's eastern cities along the Danube have become exposed to spillover from Russia's war in neighboring Ukraine, particularly when drones and debris cross or fall near the frontier. Romania has repeatedly had to monitor its airspace and warn border communities as fighting continues across the river. And this latest incident is likely to increase pressure on authorities to reassure civilians, strengthen local protections, and document every breach involving Russian weapons near Romanian territory. The United States, the United Kingdom, and Australia agreed under the AUKUS security partnership to develop underwater drone technology designed to protect critical subsea infrastructure in Australia. The project is aimed at defending undersea cables and pipelines, and the partners said the new system is expected to be ready by 2027. Linking the initiative directly to concerns about the vulnerability of communications links, energy routes, and naval approaches in the Indo-Pacific. The decision broadens AUKUS beyond its most publicly debated pillar, the plan to equip Australia with nuclear-powered submarines, and shows that the pact is also being used to accelerate autonomous systems and maritime surveillance. Subsea infrastructure has become a higher strategic priority for Western governments, because undersea cables carry large volumes of global data, while pipelines and seabed networks support energy security and military communications. By focusing the effort on Australia, the 3 governments are signaling that the protection of maritime infrastructure around the continent is now part of a wider deterrence architecture in the region. For Washington, London, and Canberra, the announcement also reflects a practical lesson from recent years. Infrastructure on or below the seabed can be targeted without a conventional naval battle, yet disruption can still impose major strategic and economic costs. AUKUS was created to deepen defense technology sharing among the 3 countries, and the Underwater Drone Initiative adds another tangible deliverable to that framework. If the program stays on its stated timetable through 2027, Australia would gain a new tool for monitoring approaches to cables and pipelines that are essential to both civilian life and military resilience. Colombians voted on Sunday in the first round of the country's presidential election, opening a contest that pits candidates aligned with President Gustavo Petro's left-wing project against rivals presented as more openly pro-Trump and pro-Washington. The vote has been framed inside Colombia as a direct test of Petro's political legacy after nearly 4 years in office, with sharply different proposals on security, the economy, and the state's role in public life driving the campaign. The election also carries unusual weight for Colombia's relationship with the United States, a central pillar of Colombian foreign policy for decades because of security cooperation, counter-narcotics programs, trade, and migration management. The ballot raises the prospect that the winner could either deepen Petro's more confrontational posture or move to reset ties with Washington on friendlier terms. The stakes are high because Colombia remains one of Latin America's most strategically important states, bordering both the Pacific and Caribbean and sharing a long, volatile frontier with Venezuela. Petro became the country's first left-wing president in 2022, and his administration sought to reorder Colombian politics through an ambitious reform agenda and a less traditional diplomatic line. Sunday's first-round vote is being watched as a broader referendum on whether voters want continuity with Petro's allies or a turn toward candidates promising a different ideological course and a recalibrated relationship with the United States. World Health Organization Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus visited Bunia, Democratic Republic of Congo, as health authorities confronted a severe Ebola outbreak centered in Ituri province. His trip placed the UN Health Agency's top official in the city, identified as the outbreak's epicenter and the region worst hit by the virus. The visit also came as Médecins Sans Frontières warned that the spread of Ebola in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo was deeply alarming, putting pressure on local clinics, surveillance teams, and emergency coordination in and around Bunia. Tedros's presence in Bunia was meant to signal international backing for provincial authorities, frontline medical workers, and communities facing a disease that can spread quickly when suspected cases are not isolated and contacts are not traced. Bunia is a major urban hub in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, and any widening transmission there raises the risk of broader regional disruption. Ebola outbreaks in Congo have repeatedly tested both national health systems and global emergency response capacity, so a visit by the WHO chief is a practical coordination move and a public message that the outbreak is being treated as an international health priority. The immediate challenge for the Democratic Republic of Congo, the WHO, and aid groups is to keep the outbreak from gaining momentum in a part of the country where access, trust, and logistics can all shape whether an epidemic is contained or accelerates. Ebola is transmitted through direct contact with bodily fluids, and the response typically depends on rapid testing, treatment centers, vaccination of contacts, and safe burials. By traveling to Bunia at this stage, Tedros tied the WHO publicly to the local campaign to curb infections. Sources and the full written briefing are available at sitrepbrief.com.